Well, howdy guys. Yet another day, yet another upload. Today, I'm feeling very cooped up. Crappy. So Scraps here. Come here. Yeah, he's back there. I find myself, when it's cold, like it is in January here, it's 26 degrees right now. I find myself kind of cooping myself up in the house a little too much, not getting out at all, which is odd for a guy who has an outdoors channel. I have neglected my outdoors channel since I think my last upload was last month, the beginning of December, and I haven't been out. So I'm gonna take a test drive right now. It's Wednesday. I'm gonna drive out to the desert. I can go one of two directions. I can go east to the mountains or west to the desert, and I know in the mountains it's going to be feet and feet of snow, and to the west I don't know. So I kind of want to go out there and see what it looks like. I want to camp this weekend. I'm either going to camp out in the desert, or I'm going to go to Antelope Island, which is also not very far away, that has designated campsites and fire pits, and I just don't know which way I'm gonna go right now. It depends on what I see when I drive out into the desert. I'm not gonna go extremely far. Sorry about that, my camera fell. It's being held on my windshield by a suction cup. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend, but I've got to force myself to get out because I'm getting depressed. I'm starting to become homebound. I don't want to leave. I don't want to do anything. It took all my effort just to go grocery shopping last night. This time of year is always hard on my emotions. I just want to hibernate and hide away. Anyway, I'm going to head out to the desert and just look at the snow situation. I want to see if the dirt roads are travel worthy. If they are, then I can plan to just go out there and camp solo, away from everybody. If not, I'll have to go to the designated campsites at Antelope Island, and there probably won't be too many campers. I mean, it's January, so it's the off season. Anyway, let's get going. I'm gonna head out into the desert. Well, we made it. It's very bright out here. There's kind of an inversion going on. Snow on the mountains over there. Crappy is really anxious to get moving. His name is Scraps, but I call him Crappy. It's just kind of a nickname he's picked up. This is where East met West, the Transcontinental Railroad, where Union Pacific met Central Pacific, and they drove in the Golden Spike. That little city-looking area down there is Thiokol, where they build rockets and whatnot for NASA. Little piece of trivia. That's where the O-rings came from that failed on the space shuttle back in 1986. It caused it to explode, unfortunately. And they do a lot of testing out here of their different rockets. In fact, there's a plume of smoke out there that makes me wonder if that's not what's happening. Anyway, this is called the Big Phil. And as you look upon the ridge there, I can't really see what I'm filming, but I'm doing my best. The sun is reflecting pretty heavily on this screen. But there's a nice, long, flat area. It goes right through those rocks. And then there's a flat area right up there that continues right into those rocks. And this is the Big Phil. They had to blast their way through and lay down the train tracks up there to make their way towards Promontory, which is that direction where East met West. Here you have some historical information. If you really want to know, you can always pause the video and read it. I can't even tell if I'm filming this properly. The last hurdle. On the weathered hillside above you are the footprints of fierce rivals, straining for the finish line in the greatest race of the 19th century. The The stakes were high. Each mile of track laid down meant enormous land grants and hefty federal subsidies. Blasting up from California came the Central Pacific Railroad, led by 4 eminent Sacramento businessmen with 10,000 Chinese laborers. Eastern money and rough immigrant track gangs pushed the Union Pacific Railroad out from Omaha, barreling across the plains and through the Rockies. Both competitors had one last obstacle, the ascent of the Promontory Mountains. And that is what you're looking at there. Steepest grade east of the Sierra Nevada. Crappie is very interested. Basically, they had to blast their way through this, coming from the east over there, heading towards the west. So this was Union Pacific plowing through here in a race against time. And we actually are going to stop further up the road and walk between that area where those rocks are that you see there. You can actually walk where the rail bed is still there. The tracks aren't. They tore up the tracks to use the metal in World War II towards the war effort, and so you can still walk on the train bed and check it out. We'll go there next. I need to let Scraps run around for a minute. He's kind of going bonkers being out here. He's having a good time. He's practically dragging me. Well, not right now, but he was dragging me through this. So, all right, that is the Big Fill. We will move on and go hike up behind those rocks. Okay, so this is called the Big Fill Walk. Scraps can figure out his leash. Scraps is very anxious to lead the way. Basically, we're high above where we were just a few minutes ago. As we come down this trail, we connect with the rail bed that the train tracks actually used to sit on. It's called the Big Fill Trail. It's quite a distance. We're gonna hike our way down there, and between that crevice off in the distance, we can actually walk the area that they had to blast through. Come on, let's go. So I'm glad I came out here. The snow isn't bad at all. This is definitely campable. When I say that, I don't mean this area. We can't camp here in the Promontory area. But it gives me a taste for what's out here in the desert, how much snow is here. And got the wheels turning for places I can go to camp this weekend in the desert based on snowfall. And it looks like most of it is up in the higher elevations. As you can see, it's patchy at best, but not very consistent. So this gives me hope. There are some cliffs up here with some little dugouts and caves in them, and the miners actually used to take refuge in them during inclement weather while they were building the railroad. And this that we're walking on right here is the actual transcontinental rail bed. This is where the tracks used to be. You can see that we're up quite a bit higher. Way out there is the Great Salt Lake. Quite an inversion going on right now. We're approaching the area that I was showing from below that was blasted through. Come on. Lead the way, buddy. Go. All right. This is so cool. And in here, there are places where you can see they drilled. Right there. And they would stuff the dynamite down the hole that they drilled and blast. (1869), May 10th to be exact, they joined at Promontory. A lot of history in this right here. Imagine hundreds of men crammed into this spot. Go. Working their way through, clearing debris, blasting. That's where we came from. So coming out the other side here, you can see the rail bed continues on, and we were parked way down there where the road curves, looking up at this just a little bit ago when we first got here. Quite a view. Very quiet. Nice thing about coming here on a Wednesday in the middle of January, we largely have the place to ourselves. See very few cars coming through. Over this direction is something called the Last Cut. I've always wanted to stop here, but never have. You can see the mountain over there has got plenty of snow on it, but even at the top of that one, you can see earth. So it's not very impressive out here in the desert, but head east into the Wasatch Mountains and you will run into feet and feet of snow. I would imagine by its name, Last Cut probably refers to the last area they had to cut through to reach Promontory. I'm not sure what the Last Cut actually is. I thought maybe this was a rail bed, but it looks more like just another dirt road. I'm parked over there. Last Cut. So it must be it out there. Wish I could tell you more about it, but there's nothing here except no shooting, hunting, metal detectors, or off-road vehicles. All right, so out there is the Last Cut. I know that we came from that direction, so it probably was the last real push up into here. Promontory is that way, so probably. Let's go down the road a little further. There's something cool down here I want to show you. Well, aside from the astounding view, I wish it wasn't so polluted. Really sucks. The view would be so much more impressive. I live that direction somewhere in that haze. Wintertime inversion. We need a good storm to blow it out, but there aren't any coming this week. Anyway, what I want to show you is over here. This is really cool. I discovered this a couple of years ago with my boys. We were just driving through here to see what was down this dirt road. We found this Chinese arch. It's a 300 million year old ochre formation. It's called Chinese Arch in honor of the Chinese men who built the railroad, but it was actually formed underwater by ancient Lake of Bonneville. So let's go have a look at it. All right, come on. Let's check it out. Your leg's tangled. There you go. Let's take the stairs. You lead the way. Go on. All right. My adventure having little dog. Come on. This is pretty cool to know that it's 300 million years old. And a natural formation at that. There it is. Chinese Arch. How cool is that? It's like a microscopic Moab. Arches National Park. Kinds of little holes up in here, and that's pretty much it for this. This is the view from the other side. Buddy, I'm not walking. Don't choke yourself. He's so anxious to go that he's choking himself. Hey, stop. Well, Scraps and I were going to continue down this road, and I was going to show you one more thing based on the other roads that were just kind of a little muddy and but clear. But this road isn't going to cooperate with us today, so this is going to have to wait for another time. As you can see, it's not only covered, but that is sheer ice. That is not snow, my friends. That is serious ice. And I no longer drive my Expedition, so all-wheel drive probably, I could do it, but do I want to find out that it was a bad idea way out here in the middle of nowhere? As you can see, I am literally in the middle of nowhere. There's a private ranch on either side. I think I'm just going to turn around and head back. Anyway, I really needed to get out into nature and get a feel for the desert. I don't know that I'll be camping out in the desert this weekend. I may hit Antelope Island instead, because if this is any indication of what I'm in for, it's a little too sketchy for my likes. I don't mind the cold. It's the ice and the snow I'm not nuts about. So, Scraps and I are going to head back. I also neglected to bring him some fresh water. I'm a bad owner, huh? Anyway, he's been having a great time running around, but as you can see, he's panting heavily. He's been walking and hiking with me a lot, and I don't have a refreshing beverage for him to quench his thirst. So I'm going to head back that way, stop at a gas station and get some bottled water for him, and call this a vlog. Okay, you're not going to believe this, but I'm driving down the middle of the road in the middle of nowhere, as you can see. Very busy, fast-moving traffic. Nothing around for miles. And look what I found. That is a puppy. It's a lab, a yellow lab. And he was very sweet and kind, and he came right up to me. And he was running down the middle of the road. I think somebody ditched him out here. He doesn't have a collar. That's very bizarre, because I just lost Bob a week ago, and I pick up his cremains today. And suddenly this dog appears in my life out of nowhere. Scrappy doesn't seem to mind too much. He's growled a little bit. You think it was serendipity? Think it was fate that I came out here today, buddy? I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but we're gonna take it home and search the internet and see if someone's missing a yellow lab. Just a puppy, really timid and sweet and kind, and let me lift it into the car. It didn't want to jump in, but it let me lift it in. It would have starved to death out here. I don't know where it came from. So, wow, I'm a bit emotional right now. I just lost my best buddy puppy. Me and Scraps both lost him, and this guy appears in our life. All right, we'll talk more about this later. I had to get back on the road. I'm making traffic go out around me. As you can see, it's just blasting by me. Okay, are we ready? Go for a ride? Yeah. Let's take you home. Well, guys, just a little update on the dog that I found in the desert. It is a yellow lab. It is still a puppy. It has the face of a yellow lab, but kind of the shoulders of a more sturdy dog. You may be able to hear Scraps scratching at my bedroom door, and that is because our friend is still here. What you doing? Want to say hi? Oh, goodness. Of course you do. Okay, so here's the deal. This dog is incredibly friendly, incredibly sweet, incredibly cuddly. Look at this guy. The dog doesn't bite. It's very licky. He just loves to lick. It's very gentle. It would be even good around little kids, I think. It just licks and licks and licks. Huh? Yes, lick, 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 lick. He's neutered, which means somebody owned him. He may be microchipped. I don't know. Maybe someone out there is looking for this guy. He's very much a puppy still. He's chewed up one of Scrap's dog toys. A lot of people, when I posted this on my Instagram, were like, hey, Bob sent you a guardian angel. This is, just out there in the desert by myself, and all of a sudden this dog appears, and it got in my car. It was really well behaved in the car. I got it home, and it was excited and happy to be here. As you can see, he's made himself at home. He lays on my couch. He's very content. He needs constant attention, which means he has to be in the room with somebody. So yesterday what happened with him is I had to go get the boys from school. And so I put him in my mud room. It's kind of a mess, but that furthest room back there with the treadmill in it is my mud room. Closed the door, left him some food and water, was gone about 30 minutes to go get my kids and get him home. And when I came back, he had trashed that room. He'd gotten a hold of a couple of pairs of shoes. Luckily, he didn't chew those up. He had ripped apart plastic grocery bags and even the kind of shopping bags that you get at a nice store that, you kind of hang on to for various things. We had a bunch of those. They're made of a kind of material so that you can reuse them over and over. And he destroyed every single one of them. So he can't be alone, because as soon as he's alone, he destroys things. He also got hold of my vacuum filter. It's a foam rubber piece that fits in my vacuum, and he, within seconds, just completely destroyed it right in front of me. I just didn't expect it. He found it and he just tore it up. He went in the kids' room and he found their stuffed animals on their shelf and brought one to us. It was really sweet. He just wants to play and chew. He's still in that puppy chewing phase. Most of the time he just either wants to lay on the kitchen floor where the tile is cool like Bob used to, or on the couch here with me. Oh, look. Hey. No, that's not yours. You put that shoe down. Put it down. Come here. No. Okay, all right. No. No. Come here. You can see a mark around his neck where a collar was. My theory is that someone drove him out to the desert and ditched him. Too much puppy, too much energy. We're getting rid of him. Someone old school that thought that was the right thing to do. That used to be a thing that people did with animals a long time ago. And now we have no-kill shelters that will take them in and try to either find the owners or adopt them out. So our friend here has got to go to a shelter. And here are the two reasons why. A, it's illegal for me to harbor him. If someone is looking for him, say he got out of a community, ran into the desert, and was lost. Some family out there could be heartbroken right now because their beloved family member is missing, and I've just got him, keeping him here in my house. It's actually illegal. So I've got to take him and have him scanned and have him left at an animal shelter. I'm doing that today. And I made some phone calls and found all this out. And when we leave him there, he will stay there for a certain amount of time. And if no one claims him, then he will be adoptable. That's my remote control. So unfortunately, those are the rules. Also, Scraps does not like him at all. Scraps is 8 years old. He's not in that puppy mode anymore, and he doesn't want to be stomped on and battered around. This guy wants to play like a puppy wants to play. He's very rambunctious. He's calm around me and around the kids, and he likes people, and he's very like this. But he is not this way around Scraps. He jumps all over Scraps. He pounces on him, all kinds of problems. Scraps starts showing his teeth, hiding from him. So I've got Scraps in my bedroom for the time being, while this guy takes over the house. And that's not really fair to Scraps, who has been in my life since he was a puppy. I can't possibly be here all the time paying all my attention to him, and I don't have a spouse who can give him that kind of attention. I have my kids, but they go to school. My adult son rents from me here. He has work and school. He cannot possibly be left alone here. I could buy a crate, but then it goes back to the Scraps problem. This dog wants to jump all over Scraps, and he's bigger than Scraps and more muscular, and I'm afraid he's going to hurt him, and not mean to, but I'm afraid he's going to hurt Scraps. Hey, what are you doing? See, come here. He listens if I call him. So he responded when I saw him yesterday running in the desert and whistled at him. He came running over. He understands whistling. He understands a few very small commands. If I say no, he knows what no means. But somebody didn't spend a whole lot of time training him. He doesn't understand the leash situation. I put a leash on him to get him in the house, to get him out of the car, and it was a tug of war. He didn't understand what this thing was around his neck. So, unfortunately, it's just not workable. As much of an answer to a prayer as it seemed, at least I rescued him from the desert. At least it was 22 degrees last night. He didn't freeze in the desert all night. He wasn't attacked by coyotes. There are packs of them out there. It's a dangerous place for a puppy to be running around cluelessly, unaware of the dangers that are around him. So today I will be taking him right around noon when the shelter opens. I don't know why they open at noon, but they do. And surrendering him. So at least if I take him to Hey! No! He's going after the couch cushion. No! Get down. Get down. Get down. See, he understood that. He stopped. My cat doesn't like him. He's hissing at him. The cat gets along great with Scraps. He got along fine with Bob. No problems. He would even cuddle up to them. But this dog is just too much energy. Not a good fit for our home. Anyway, look at that. I mean, how can you resist it? He's so sweet. So I just wanted to update you on my find in the desert. I'm glad I was able to rescue him. Grateful that he's safe and happy and warm and content and enjoys it here. You can tell. But unfortunately, he's not staying here. Well, guys, that's it. That's all I have to say. That's the update. It's good news and bad news, depending on how you look at it. I think it's all good news. We saved a puppy from dying in the desert, and we're going to find him a home. And I'm going to do the right thing. And my kids left their socks on the floor, and he's probably going to try to chew them up.